Hi everybody, my name is Boss Mode Billy. I like to make gaming content as well as other videos. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you love Roblox as much as I do. I'm going to do more gameplay videos and walkthrough tutorials in the future, so make sure you ring that bell for notifications. Welcome back to Obby, but you're on a bike. This is World 44 Gamers. Are you a part of the Boss Mode Nation? Let me know in the comments below if you are Boss Mode. Let's get into it, gamers. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about something that I think is really crucial for growth and learning, understanding, and accepting our place in the world. You know how it feels when you're feeling lost or uncertain about your path? Like you're just wandering around trying to figure out what's going on, but everything seems kinda foggy. Yeah, I've been there too, and trust me, it's not a fun place to be. But here's the thing, recognizing our limitations is actually the first step towards clarity. So, let's talk about this concept for a second. Recognizing your limitations means acknowledging what you can and cannot control in your life. Now, I know what you're thinking, but wait, isn't it all about being able to do whatever we want? Well, kind of, but also not really. See, there are some things that are just outside of our control, like the actions of others or circumstances beyond our reach. And trying to fight against those things can be super draining and unproductive. It's like trying to hold water in your hands, it's just going to slip right through. By acknowledging what we can and cannot control, we start to see things more clearly. We realize that we don't have to waste energy on things that are outside of our power, and instead, we can focus on developing our strengths and building upon them. It's like taking a big step back from the puzzle and looking at it with fresh eyes. You start to see all the pieces that fit together just so, and it becomes way easier to make progress. For example, let's say you're really passionate about writing, but you have no idea how to get published or get your work out there. You can either spend hours beating yourself up over not knowing what to do next, or you can acknowledge that publishing is outside of your control right now because, let's be real, it's a big industry with lots of gatekeepers. By recognizing your limitations in this area, you can start focusing on building your skills as a writer, taking online courses, writing regularly, and seeking out feedback from others. And then, when the time is right, you'll be way more prepared to take on that next step. So, I want to leave you with a challenge today. Take some time to reflect on what's going on in your life, and think about where you might be operating outside of your control. Are there things that are making you feel anxious or uncertain? Take a deep breath, and try to let go of those things just for now, not because they're not important, but because it's actually really freeing to acknowledge what we can't control. By doing so, you'll start to see more clearly where your strengths lie, and you can begin to build upon them in powerful ways. So, now that we've talked about recognizing our limitations, let's dive into another crucial aspect of understanding and accepting our place in the world: cultivating self-awareness. You know how sometimes you feel like you're just going through the motions of life, but you don't really have a sense of purpose or direction? Yeah, I think many of us can relate to that feeling. Self-awareness is about having a deep understanding of yourself, your values, passions, and goals. It's knowing what drives you, what motivates you, and what makes you tick. And when we're self-aware, we make decisions from a place of clarity and intention, rather than just reacting impulsively to whatever comes our way. So, how do we cultivate self-awareness? Well, it starts with reflection. We need to take the time to get quiet, tune in, and listen to what's going on inside ourselves. Ask yourself questions like, what am I passionate about? What matters most to me? What are my non-negotiables? What kind of person do I want to be? For example, let's say you're someone who values creativity and self-expression, but you've been stuck in a 9-to-5 job that feels stifling. You might realize that your passion for art is what brings you joy, but you've been too afraid to pursue it as a career. By acknowledging this value of yours, you can start making decisions that align with who you are and what matters most to you. Another important part of self-awareness is understanding our strengths and weaknesses. We all have areas where we excel and areas where we struggle. But when we know our strengths, we can leverage them to achieve more. And when we acknowledge our weaknesses, we can work on improving them in a way that feels realistic and achievable. For instance, let's say you're someone who excels at communication and collaboration, but struggles with time management and organization. By recognizing this, you might set up systems to help you stay on track, or seek out support from others when you need it. And then, as you build upon your strengths, you'll become even more effective in your relationships and work. Now, I know that self-awareness can be hard to develop, especially if we're not used to paying attention to our thoughts and feelings. But trust me, the benefits are totally worth it. When we're self-aware, we set realistic expectations for ourselves, both personally and professionally. We stop beating ourselves up over things that aren't within our control, and we start focusing on making progress towards our goals. So, I want to leave you with a challenge today. Take some time to get quiet and reflect on what's going on inside yourself. Ask yourself those tough questions and see what you learn about your values, passions, and goals. And then, as you start to understand yourself better, remember that it's okay to make adjustments along the way. Self-awareness is a journey, not a destination. So, now that we've talked about recognizing our limitations and cultivating self-awareness, let's dive into another crucial aspect of understanding and accepting our place in the world, embracing our uniqueness. You know how it feels when you're surrounded by people who seem to have it all together. Like, they're always confident, capable, and effortlessly cool. Yeah, I think many of us can relate to that feeling. But here's the thing, nobody is perfect, and striving for perfection is just a recipe for disappointment and burnout. When we compare ourselves to others or try to live up to unrealistic standards, we end up feeling like we're not good enough. And let me tell you, that's just not true. Embracing our uniqueness means celebrating the things that make us different from everyone else. It means acknowledging that our quirks and flaws are what make us interesting, and that trying to fit in or conform is actually a form of self-betrayal. When we accept ourselves for who we are, flaws and all, we start to feel more confident and at peace. Now, I know this can be tough. We are constantly bombarded with messages telling us to strive for perfection, whether it's through social media or the culture around us. But here's the thing, nobody else is as hard on themselves as they are on others. Nobody else expects you to be perfect. In fact, most people are just trying to figure things out like you are. So, let's talk about self-acceptance for a second. When we accept ourselves, flaws and all, it's not because we're settling or giving up on our goals, it's because we're recognizing that we're already enough, exactly as we are. We don't need to be fixed or changed in order to be worthy. We just need to be seen and accepted for who we truly are. For example, let's say you're someone who struggles with anxiety or self-doubt. Maybe you feel like you're not good enough, or that you're just pretending to have it all together. But what if I told you that those feelings are normal? What if I told you that everyone feels uncertain and scared at times, even the people who seem to have it all together? By accepting ourselves, flaws and all, we can start to build a more compassionate relationship with ourselves, one that's based on love and understanding rather than criticism and judgment. And when we do this, we become more confident, more resilient, and more willing to take risks. So, I want to leave you with a challenge today. Take some time to reflect on what makes you unique, and celebrate those things. Whether it's your sense of humor, your creativity, or your quirky habits, own them, and don't be afraid to share them with others. And remember, nobody is perfect. We're all just winging it as we go along. So, let's wrap up our conversation by talking about one of the most important things I want to leave you with today, focusing on growth, not comparison. You see, when we are busy comparing ourselves to others or trying to measure our worth against someone else's success, we can easily get caught up in a cycle of dissatisfaction and frustration. But what if instead of comparing ourselves to others, we focused on our own growth and development? What if we used self-acceptance as a foundation for continuous learning, improvement, and exploration? I think that would be a pretty amazing way to live our lives.